Hey yo, welcome back to the channel guys. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite characters, Itachi Uchiha from the Naruto series. In this video I'm going to be explaining why he's so OP, why I put him above majority of the Akatsuki. In other words, in this video I will be talking about his crossword scaling, his inverse scaling, which would also include his feats or statements from him being alive and sick, and I will also be going over Edo and which one I do believe is stronger than the other. I will also be explaining that in this video, but before I get into all that, make sure to like, subscribe, follow me on all my socials. All the links are down in the description. Make sure to join my Discord, link in the description, aka Tiger Sage. And with all that, let's get into it. So first, I will be answering a question that I do get very often. Which version of Itachi is truly the strongest? Alive Itachi or Edo Itachi? Into this video, I will be explaining why I do believe Edo Itachi is stronger. Well, for one, he blatantly just has much better feats, for example, keeping up with KCM1 Naruto, or being relative to EMS Sasuke. Both of these feats are very impressive, common sense, so KCM1 Naruto is probably one of the most impressive characters in the series at this point in time, knowing that he basically defeated everyone by himself, and EMS Sasuke is a powerhouse in his own right. Which makes Itachi even more impressive knowing, like I said before, he keeps up with KCM1 and he shows relativity to EMS Sasuke. He shows relativity to EMS Sasuke so much that even in the 4th data book, it's stated that they are equals. Now this is very important because him being relative or equal to EMS Sasuke blatantly makes it clear that he should be above his sick alive self, and I'm going to explain why. So first we need to understand that heavy Sasuke is actually relative to sick alive Itachi, and before you start saying cap in my comment section, please hear me out. Like it or not, we have lots of implications during that fight, and from the mini data book, the 3rd data book, the canon video game, and the manga that imply that heavy Sasuke does scale to MS Itachi before Susanoo. To prove this, obviously I'm going to be showing you the statements up on screen, but usually the one rebuttal I always hear is this wouldn't be the case because Obito states he would have been able to kill him if he really wanted to. I do believe this statement is specifically before this is a no, because we do have statements from Itachi specifically stating from himself, if I hadn't had this, I would have been dead. This statement is referring to Susanoo. This is just further implying that Sasuke does scale to MS Itachi without his Susanoo on. We even have statements from the mini data book, like I said before, stating they fought on even terms. We have statements from the 3rd data book stating that Sasuke was starting to overwhelm Itachi, and we also have statements from the canon video game Naruto Generations that also imply that Sasuke does scale to MS Itachi. Even before this, it's even implied in the 3rd data book that Sasuke was straight up able to break out of Tsusanome by his own strength. To this point in time, you really just can't deny that heavy Sasuke is relative to Itachi at this point. Even if you want to say that he was still holding back, we even have statements from Obito himself stating that he had to pressure him because he wanted to get Orochimaru out of him. So obviously, he couldn't really hold back, and as we know, he had to go into Susanoo, so 100% Sasuke scales to Itachi. There's really no denying it at this point. There's too much evidence that really say no, he just doesn't. And the thing about his Susanoo, he doesn't even scale to his own Susanoo. He had trouble just holding it up. He defeats Orochimaru for a quick second, and then he just drops. He can't even hold up his own Susanoo when he's alive and sick. Well, in Edo, he could casually hold it up, and he doesn't show any sort of difficulty holding it up during the fight with Kabuto. So he actually more scales to his Susanoo when he's Edo than he does when he's alive. So now we have like sick Itachi being scaled to like heavy Sasuke. Now you have Edo Itachi being scaled to a way stronger Sasuke. And when I say stronger, I mean like extremely stronger. I'm going to explain to you the huge power gap between heavy Sasuke and just EMS Sasuke. So first off, at the end of the fight, as we know, after heavy Sasuke is done talking to Obito, he gets his MS, so he gets 1 amp. We move on to the 5 Kage Summit. He proceeds to get 2 amps from the statements from Karin. It clearly implies that he got stronger just from the scene and from the images of his Susanoo. Then we move on to the Danzo fight when we have another statement from Kahin that clearly implies that Sasuke has gotten stronger for a third time. Later on after this fight, after he's done fighting Danzo, he shoots a arrow at Kakashi, and after that it's also implied another time that he got stronger. You can clearly tell from the image. So now this Sasuke has gotten 5 amps, one from just getting the MS, 2 during the 5 Kage Summit, and then another 2 during the Danzo / Kakashi fight. After this, he proceeds to get the EMS, which he blatantly states he got stronger, so that's a 6 amp. And then even after that, during the war, he's training with his new eyes, getting stronger, so you can say he got amped about 6 to 7 times. So in other words, Edo Itachi is just blatantly stronger than Sick Alive Itachi. You have Sick Alive Itachi being compared to Heavy Sasuke before his Susanoo, but now you have a Sasuke that's 6-7 times stronger, and Edo Itachi is being compared to him. Now the only possible way you can really say Alive is over Edo is by the Tobirama statement. The statement you see on screen is basically the statement majority people use to prove that Alive would always be above Edo. This would just be blatantly contradicted specifically for Itachi from all the statements and feats I've brought up before I brought up this statement. So it's pretty obvious. Edo Itachi would just be above Sick Alive Itachi. Now that we're done with that part of the video, let's get into his crossroads / inverse scaling. Itachi's best feat realistically is being able to react to killing from Heavy Sasuke. This feat was pixel scaled to be about 2915 Mach. In other words, massively hypersonic plus. I'll leave the calc for that in the description down below, but basically that's what he would scale out for his reaction speed. His combat speed should be relative to that. Then again, the funny thing about Itachi does have abilities and moves that are stated to be speed of light and implied to be faster than speed of light. Example of this would be Water Fang Bullet, the move he uses against Kakashi back in part 1. It's just flat out stated to move at the speed of light. 2. Tsunomi, which is his most broken genjutsu ability from his MS, it's stated that not even the speed of light can escape it, therefore it's implied that it must be moving faster than the speed of light. In other words, he has an FTL move right there. Water Fang, speed of light, so he has 2 attacks that allow him to move at speed of light, or they can move at speed of light. So for combat speed, you can say Massive Hypersonic Plus to speed of light, FTL. Then when it comes to AP, I don't really think it matters because Itachi is a type of character that basically uses genjutsu, or in other words, just his hacks. One of his most popular hacks would just obviously be Tsunomi. In the data book, second data book, it stated that this ability allows him to control space, time, gravity. So in other words, this is just dual negation. It's not like it's a physical ability, it's a mental ability. So this would be a form of durability negation. Then he has his Tosca Blade, which is another form of debility negation. It's just a genjutsu. Then he has his gold to put those people he hits with that genjutsu in. Then he has his hacks, aka the Amaterasu, which is basically just a one hit. So his AP really doesn't matter. His entire arsenal is basically just on hacks. So when it comes down to his crossroads scaling, he has great scaling for his speed. Massive Hypersonic to FTL. When it comes down to his AP, just count on hacks. His hacks are pretty amazing. Basically, just pure dual negation. That's basically all of his hacks. He has decent durability. His durability should be about just above mountain level plus. His best feat would be tank and killing. Killing scaled to be mountain level plus. I'll leave a calc for that down in the description down below. Edo should be stronger than Alive, so his ability should be just slightly higher than that if you're using Edo. But with all that, that'll be end of the crossroads, so let's get into inverse a little bit. So let me just make this clear. Now, I am one of the few people that do believe Orange Mask Obito smacks Itachi, but it would be ignorant for me to say that Itachi doesn't have a chance, because it's been implied multiple times by Obito himself. One of the statements that implies this is just from Obito blatantly admitting that Itachi could kill him. This would imply that either Itachi scales above him, or this implies that there must be some extremely close relativity when it comes to speed, AP, hacks. Another indication of this is also when Orange Mask Obito is talking to Zetsu. Obito states now that this man is dead, he can actually go towards the village. The thing about this is, if Obito was just blatantly above Itachi, then there would be no reason for him to necessarily hold up to this sort of agreement that they made earlier in the series. He would just do it if he was blatantly stronger. So once again, this must interpret into either Itachi's skills above him or Itachi's skills relative to him. And I know that a lot of people like myself think that Orange Mask Obito is one of the strongest characters in the series, and he most likely would clap majority of the characters in the series. Because of this would also include Itachi, because there's this clear narrative that Itachi should scale to Orange Mask Obito, which makes Itachi even more impressive. In other words, Itachi, when it comes down to inverse scaling, he's impressive as hell. When it comes down to crossfit scaling, he's impressive as hell. When it comes down to his hacks, he's impressive as hell. And like you guys have wanted me to answer it for a very long time, Edo Itachi is 100% of a live Itachi. Therefore, this video is done. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We enjoy you guys. Drop a comment, like, subscribe. See you guys next video. Peace.